I really don't want to be alarmist, but I am genuinely fearful for Nigel Farage's well-being. I think it's about time, frankly, that the state gave him proper police protection. I know this is something Nigel Farage rightly puts to the back of his mind. He said that to ITV. But this is worrying. Sly News have branded him far right, stoking up hate and resentment right his way. Guardian columnists have said that it's art to throw liquids at Nigel Farage, and MPs refuse to talk about anything other than the so-called far-right bogeyman. If it was anyone else, this would be front-page news. We often hear from the political and media class who, as you all know by now, overwhelmingly hold lefty liberal views. They argue that it's the right that's stoking up fear and division, and that we are the ones that are guilty. Here's a Labour MP mere hours after Nigel Farage's latest attack, posting on X.
From Europe to the US, the far right is on the rise, attacking minorities and stoking hate. In the UK, the Tories and Reform are singing from the same hymn sheet. We must refuse to be divided and instead demand real change.
I mean, the self-awareness is absolutely staggering. What's the French landslide for Marine Le Pen's party wasn't to do with a penchant for the far right, but this kind of out-of-touch lefty liberal politician. And it was only last week Nigel Farage was attacked with a milkshake. It could have been acid. BBC so-called comedians have suggested Farage ought to be doused in battery acid. And then today, Farage was pelted with rocks from a building site by some hard-left trade union activist. The Be Kind Brigade, no doubt. And if one had actually hit Farage, if he had got off that bus, I dread to think what serious damage could actually have been done. And if this had happened to Diane Abbott or Sadiq Khan, we'd have heard ad nauseum about how Britain's far right has placed our nation in the throes of fascism, 1930s Germany. But when it's Nigel Farage, there isn't this wall-to-wall coverage and condemnation like you wouldn't believe that there would be for most other politicians. Call me soft, call me whatever you want. The only thing that I think should be thrown at those we disagree with are arguments and debate, not missiles and liquids. Let's not validate these leftists' attempts at intimidation. Painfully clear to me that those who can't stand those who speak up for we plebs with patriotic pro-nation and pro-people talking points are at risk like never before. Whether that be through cancellation tactics online or intimidatory tactics like those fired at Farage. They want us to stop. They want us to be fearful. They want us to ultimately be silenced. But we mustn't. The irony is that those screaming until blue in the face about the rise of fascism are the very ones so quick to adopt the tactics of actual democracy-denying fascists. That's who they are. Modern-day contemporary fascists.